Why you frustrate me? Oh, come on, Bruce. That's not very nice. First, let me clearly say, not all of you frustrate me. There are many people that I mentor that are clear on their why, taking action, and they're building boards. They've got professionals. They are working industries hard. They're working outreach. They've got financial institutions. They're talking to prospects, and ultimately they're closing deals. Those people don't frustrate me. But the people that frustrate me, and this is more me looking at what could I do better? How could I help them more than it would appear? Is if I want their success more than they want their success, that frustrates me. And for many people, they're not clear enough on their why, their discipline needs to be improved, et cetera, et cetera. And there's examples of that. When I look at someone who's not making the progress and is asking me a question about what they should do, I frequently go back, and one of the things that Kajabi does for me is it lets me know your progress in the courses. So I can go to the Acquisition Advantage Bootcamp. I can end up looking at that product for you, and I can look at step by step. You did 100% on video 1, 100% on video 2, then 0, 0, 10%, whatever it is. Some are 100, 100, 100, 100. That's great. But a lot of times the questions I'm asked are because you didn't go through the course or the videos in complete fashion. And so, does that frustrate me? Yeah, because you have the tool, but you don't use the tool. And the people that are most successful end up saying to me, when I got to the stage of lawyers and accountants, I went back and I looked at that Acquisition Advantage Bootcamp under interviewing professionals. And I looked at it before, but now I'm doing it. So different things hit me different. And so you go back and use that as a resource. This is a pet peeve of mine. It just is. And that is showing up late. The same people show up late all the time. It's interesting to watch that. And so what that signals to other people is this meeting isn't really important. It's not important that I'm on time. And you will not only for yourself hurt yourself, but the organization will begin to say, hey, when we set a date or a time or a task, the leader here, no, he doesn't show up on time. So, we really don't need to do that as well. You will set the tone from the beginning. And certainly what you will find is that if you go to external meetings late, prospects, lawyers, accountants, what is the first thing you say? You say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm late. And I don't want to start a meeting apologizing. I like it if the other person is apologizing when they're late. It tells me something. It also tells me something about what is going to happen with that person in the future. I used to say, and I've said this a lot on the group meetings, when I was interviewing people, if they were a minute late to that interview, that was a next for me. I recently saw that Warren Buffett said basically the same thing, because it's the honeymoon period. It's as good as it's ever going to get. And so if they can't end up being on time for the first meeting, the work's not going to be on time, they're not going to show up on time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I had HR people say to me, yeah, but they got lost on the way. Okay. They flew in last night, right? Yeah. They stayed in a hotel, right? Yeah. They probably didn't have too much to do other than maybe watch a show or do a little research about the meeting, hopefully the next day. So why didn't they drive it? We're 10 minutes away from the hotel. Why didn't they drive it? And I said, I don't need to see him. Oh, Bruce, no, I don't need to see him, period. So that is super important to me, being on time. And you will watch that successful people typically guard their time carefully, they're on time, and they notice when people are not on time. So don't start by apologizing. Start, being early. Sometimes you have technology problems, your computer glitches, Zoom doesn't load, whatever it is. And now you're trying to recoup that time and make it on time to the meeting, and typically it doesn't work. So those certainly are. I wrote a couple other things down, so let me check on that. Lateness, yeah, I've talked about that. The other one that bothers me a lot is people who just say, here's the problem, what should I do? Your board, me as well, people around you, your professionals or employees, this is great to have employees do the same thing, will get frustrated if you come with a problem with no solutions. So when you reach out to your board, here's the situation, here's 1, 2, 3 things I think we could do. What do you think? Do you think I'm on the right track or not? One, they will begin to see, okay, what's his judgment like? Is he getting better? Is he given this thought to come up with a solution? And if the answer is yes, they'll be impressed. If the answer is no, he just comes and says, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? That's like a kid, basically. So you will lose people. You will frustrate people. And with employees, the same thing. It took me a while to learn that lesson. But when people came in and said, here's the problem, my initial tendency, way back when, because I was a pretty darn good salesperson, and my manager said, you're going to make a lousy manager. Well, why is that? He said, because you're a good salesperson. Well, what's that mean? Because you're a good salesperson because you take the customer's problems and you fix it. Guess what? You're going to do that with employees. So when they come in, tell them how you ask them for a solution, suggested. Tell them what the problem looks like. Tell them what you think of their solutions. But when they leave your office, they leave with the problem. They don't leave that problem with you to fix. And that was great advice. Took me a while to learn that and execute it, but I certainly did. So that's certainly one that's important, super important to me. Okay, so again, not everybody frustrates me, but if you're guilty with some of the things that I've mentioned, showing up late, not coming with a solution, not thinking through, how we should handle these things, start to do that. And then you will find that people respect you more. The employees, hopefully that you are gaining through this process, will respect you and say, you know what? When he says or she says that this is going to happen, it happens. It happens because they do what they said they're going to do. They're on time, so we better be on time, et cetera, et cetera. So I hope that helps. I hope that it alleviates some frustration. There are a lot of mentees I deal with, and it's one of the reasons I do this, to see the success they're getting, to have them oftentimes see success they didn't think was possible that changes their lives. I get a lot of joy out of that. And so on one side, there's some frustration, but on the other side, there's a great benefit to what I do for me. And that's the reason I continue to do it. If it doesn't become fun and stay fun, probably won't do it in the future. But that hasn't happened yet. So I hope that helps. I hope that I see those results from what I've said in our interactions together and ultimately in the acquisitions, which is the reason we're all doing this.